I was involved in the Coimbra Group in first time in 2012 when I was just elected for my first mandate as a vice-rector at the University of Poitiers. And because I was in charge of the networks, I participated to the annual meeting in 2012 that was in Göttingen. So my very first contact was in Göttingen at the annual meeting, and it was very new to me. I had been elected vice rector a month before in May. So that was actually probably one of my first travel as a vice rector. And I was totally new to the network. So yeah, it was an incredible learning curve, I must say. As a vice rector, I was participating to the classical Coimbra Group events, such as the annual meeting, the high-level seminar for the years 12, 13, 14, 15. And actually, I had applied to be a member of the executive board, I think in 2014. I was not elected because there were many candidates and I was still pretty new to the network. And during the course of the year 15, one member of the executive board resigned, and I was appointed by the executive board as an interim member. And then at the next annual meeting, I applied and I got elected on the board. Then, as a member of the executive board, I of course actively participated into all the activities. And then in 2017, the previous chair, Dorothy Kelly, Vice-Rector of University of Granada, was ending her mandate, and there were no real successes, and people started to ask me if I was interested. I discussed with several people, including my rector, including my family, and then I applied for the executive board chair position, and I got elected. And this is how it started. I was then re-elected in 2020 and in 2024. Well, in terms of highlights, I could maybe share, let's say, one thing that I consider as I would dare to say success in how the Coimbra Group involved. But I would like also to share a memory from all that time in the Coimbra Group, and I will start with the memory. Which to me really something that I think I will always remember, which is actually the first annual meeting that we had after the COVID pandemic. So we are back now to June 2022. We were forced to cancel the annual meeting in 2020 that was due to be in Montpellier on the occasion of the 800 years celebration. So very important for them, very important for us. Totally cancelled. Then in 21, we held an online annual meeting. We were hoping to be in capacity to go to Prague, but it was absolutely impossible. And then it was suddenly possible again to meet in Padova. So this was coinciding as well with a celebration of this university, 800 years, if I'm not mistaken. But it was really the spirit, the atmosphere of everybody being again in capacity to each other and just to embrace and to see people, to touch people. I think this is the moment. I had that feeling already before, but this is really the moment where I could see that Coimbra Group is not just an association, it's a family. It was so impressive to see everybody, the rectors, the vice-rectors, the people involved in the working groups, so happy to be again in the same room and sharing these values, this spirit of European cooperation. That was something that I will never forget. And to come back on a more maybe boring highlight, I would say that I'm very proud of what the whole network has been in capacity to achieve during the past years at different levels, but in particular to really keep very high in the European agenda all the missions of the universities. That is not only the classical Erasmus mobility, but also the commitment to research, the commitment to societal engagement through different Coimbra Group initiatives. To me, this is really an achievement, a highlight, because I believe that Coimbra Group now is really seen not just as an association, but really embodying all what academia is made for, and how this is serving Europe overall and also the citizens. The influence of the Coimbra Group in the University of Poitiers is probably a bit special because, of course, of my role, but I would say that we have in particular been very happy and proud to see that this concept of the city university, which is really the signature of our university in Poitiers, which is actually also a common feature to all the Coimbra Group universities and their local ecosystem, including the municipality. So we have been actually particularly proud of being in capacity to transform what was a local engagement into now a Coimbra Group tool, a Coimbra Group platform, which is the so-called Poitiers Declaration. And this had a positive feedback, a sort of feedback loop on the university itself, because now in France, the Poitiers University is also really recognized for this signature. And this has been, for instance, the very core of our recent successful excellence application. And we have been actually recognized by the French ministry as one of the most active universities in this role of the societal engagement of universities. So there is a mutual enrichment. I dare to think that Poitiers University has offered the Poitiers Declaration to the Coimbra Group, but then the Coimbra Group has really offered the University of Poitiers to really be visible for that. It's true that all the members of the executive board, and in particular the treasurer, the vice chair, and the chair of the executive board, indeed do that on a voluntary base. And this is usually related to also a policy mandate in their own universities. So, in a way, we could consider that this is part of their job as a vice-rector or equivalent. As far as I'm concerned, I have clearly received much more and I hope to continue to receive much more than what I'm personally investing. Because I have this chance that I can combine basically sort of political mandate with something that I'm passionate about, which is really to fight in the good sense of it, to fight for the values of academia, the values of cooperation, and the fact that we are all here around a same set of objectives and values that we want to continue to spread in the society. So this is priceless. There is no salary that could really be equivalent to what I gain in doing this, because I feel in a way, and I hope that I'm useful at some point for all what I'm doing in the Coimbra Group. So in a way, I would say that I'm receiving so much more that I'm ready to continue for centuries. Where would be the Coimbra Group in 40 years from now? Well, I guess this will be wishful thinking, because honestly, we don't know at the moment where it's going to where Europe is going, not because Europe in itself is not going in the right direction, but because of the fact that Europe is not alone in the world, and we see that there are several parallel agendas where people would like to see Europe not continuing to be a strong continent, innovative continent, but above all, a continent where values and human beings are really respected. So, considering that we will at some point win this battle of keeping our European way of life with our values, with the way we want to engage in society, the way we want to see universities continuing to be the sort of uh, uh, yeah, the lighthouses of knowledge and so on. So considering that this would be the way Europe continues, I see Coimbra Group as some more than an association, a sort of a model for the cooperation that we have in Europe, where actually cooperation is considered better than competition. So I see actually that maybe this will continue to grow. We know, of course, that there is a debate around what would be the optimal number of Coimbra Group universities, but maybe we will find new ways of cooperation that allows to have more Coimbra Group members. And with this means we would become stronger in our capacity to cooperate and to be innovative altogether, but maybe even stronger in the capacity to advocate for what is the university needing to continue to play its role in society. So I would say Coimbra Group would still be there, stronger, even more visible, and maybe even more engaged with policymakers in making Europe stronger.